Hello, good evening. Let me make sure there's my mic. Put my mic up. Good evening. Oh man. I have to change that chat. Okay, so I've been having my screen will go on, off, on, off. I think the notifications went out because I have another account and I subscribe. That way I can see if the notification goes out. I know that there was a notification that went out, and I was live streaming all night last night, and even Amanda went on the computer, and she was, she had no idea that she's, being filmed. I mean, that's kind of creepy, but I don't know. I thought it was maybe the hotkeys, but I was sitting here just getting ready for this show, getting some documents together, and the same thing happened again. I realized it was streaming on its own. So that's really weird. I don't have the chat up like I want to. But, okay, so we got people here. People look at, yeah. So you guys can see me. Okay. Yep. And we have a caller. Hello, Red Pill News Dispenser. I'm live. How you doing? Would you like to be live, or are you just checking in? Yeah, I just went up. Yep. There's a new notification that would have went out like a minute ago. Okay, no problem. So if you, look, you just go to my channel, you'll see it. The one that just went out. That's it. Okay? And then if you want to call in after I do my spiel, you can do that too. Okay. All right. All right, guys. So obviously the talk of the whole weekend, right? It's been Epstein. And I have been doing a lot of research and looking at documents, and I have them all. I have everything. I have the full court documents that were released on Friday, the day before his death. I have his all the black book with the only thing redacted, of course, are the people's phone numbers, because their phone numbers and their email. I mean, not in full. You could almost just guess some of the numbers and figure it out, but I'm not encouraging that. I'm just saying it's kind of surprising. Surprising how easily I was able to get some of these documents. All the flight logs, everything. There's not that many people in here, so maybe a notification didn't go out, or maybe they're in another. So people will watch this after then. I'll delete I'm gonna have to delete some of these other notifications that went out, but this is what I think is going on. I think Q was for real. I think that there's a reason that on the 5th, HM was taken down. He's always talking about the 10 days of darkness and the suicide weekend. Well, if you follow that, 10 days, this is where I just want to get this out, what I think. 10 days of darkness. Well, HM went down on the 5th. We know that Coates is being removed on the 15th. I've been talking about August 15th for about 3 months now. And I do not think it's a coincidence that all these things are lining up. I do not think it's a coincidence that the media seems not know how to handle this situation with Epstein. And you guys can see me just fine, right? Okay, just making sure. It seems like people are saying they're having trouble. I know that last night a stream was up for hours. I know that about a half hour ago, while I was doing research, I looked at my phone, I got a notification that I'm live or something, and then I shut it off. So I don't know what's going on with my computer. It's kind of weird, and then the screen will go on and off, on and off. Literally, right before I'm going to go on, it went off. But let me get back to what I was saying. This is what I believe. I was thinking at first that this man is dead. Now, the picture that's on the thumbnail, I can't verify it, but it's floating around the internet, and I wanted to put it out there. That is supposed to be him dead. Now, when I looked around, there was some people who do this for a living, comparing photos and the legitimacy of a photo. They're saying that the photo is legit, but it's not him. Looks like him, but when they match up the nose and all that. And I'm telling you that the first day I was thinking someone sneaked in him something and he was able to poison himself. Because there is no way he could have hung himself in a jail cell right after getting off suicide watch. There's no way. No way he could have done that. And what I honestly believe, because everything's starting to match up, suicide weekend is something that Q talks about all the time, or had talked about, before the whole board was shut down, the 8chan, on the 5th. Well, 10 Days of Darkness would be the 15th, which is also the same day that not only have we been talking about because of astrological reasons, the full moon happens to be on that day as well. It's a big Jewish holiday that day as well. I know that today was one that people were thinking something big's going to go down, but I've been pretty firm, and I'm not date setting like a doomsday event. I'm date setting some kind of huge public awakening, I believe. We know that Epstein was Mossad, and people wonder where the money came from. I mean, put two and two together right there. I'm almost starting to think, I know that he definitely got involved in some bad stuff, but was he maybe put in place to set other people up? Because when you look at the names in these documents, it's staggering who is on that. It's basically like a who's who. I see that the viewers are trying to come in, and there's not really that many people getting in here. Is anyone having trouble? What about the witness people? Well, that's what I think it is. But I think it's deeper than that. I think that this is all part of some plan that's been going down, because I've been literally cracking Q, watching it and trying to figure out what he's saying and staying up on it. I've been doing that for 2 years. And then it got to a point where I was like, okay, the intel is legit. Some of the shorthand, certain things that you only see with the clearance, and if you work in the frequency world, there was a few that he put out that were right on. I haven't seen them since I was in the Navy. So the reason I'm talking about Q in relation to Epstein is because I honestly think that this weekend is the suicide weekend he's been talking about. And I think about that the 10 Days of Darkness happens to match up from the 5th to the 15th, which is the day when Coates is supposed to be replaced as Attorney General. I mean, as the head of the DNI. So, what does that all mean? Well, I think it's going to be, and also another thing, how easily I've been able to get these documents. I mean, at first it was tough, but since Friday, they publicly released them Friday, I was able to get my hands on some juicy stuff. We can take a look at that stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, looking into all of this and really studying it and just being, really trying to figure things out and just look and see who's involved, and just seeing the names, it's depressing. It makes you realize that all the people that you thought were just so intelligent, they were in these certain positions, it's all bullshit. A lot of them only have bachelor degrees. They're not exactly super intelligent. They can train them to talk on camera well, but it's almost like it's like some kind of initiation. It's did they have to get dirt on them before they could be the heads of some of these companies? It makes me wonder looking at these documents. So my viewer chat thing is weird. It goes up to like 15 and then it goes down to 5. I mean, I don't know how you lose 10 people at once. So I don't know what's been going on. All my electronics have been all screwing up. So, but then again, I have so much. Let's start to look into this stuff. All right, I didn't know what to do because honestly, I've been I didn't want to spread this negative crap into the the internet and everyone, and project this trash, this negative, disgusting crap into people's screens. But we have a right to know some of this stuff, and I think we're all adults here. I just my only advice is just kind of go into things with the full armor of God, if you can. Earlier I was feeling really negative about this stuff, and I feel a little bit better. I did some praying. I feel a little bit better, and I have like a special thank you I want to say to a few people later. But last night I was live, and it was like I don't even know. I haven't even watched it. I heard it was bad. Like it was just live for so many hours. Just I want to thank Tabby most of all. Kelly Kebo, and that's just for that. I have a lot of thank yous for some other reasons. I had donations come in after my last true show. I had donations. I had no idea because you don't get a notification right away. It's like, and I get it in my mail. So when I check my mail, my email, boom, I see it there. But I gotta make it so I get a notification. So during a show, and then of course I'll see it in chat. I always watch chat afterwards. But it's a guess. None of us know exactly what's going on. But I went from thinking that he poisoned himself to all of a sudden kind of thinking back into this Q stuff and how it all lines up, and how the 10 days of darkness would make sense from the 5th to the 15th. The 15th is when Coates is going to be replaced. He's supposed to be that last kind of what's the word that they always use? Well, whatever. He's supposed to be like that last obstacle. Once they get rid of him, it's that everything's going to speed up now. If he's assumed dead, then what's next? Well, I think that the people that are being exposed in these documents, which are surprisingly not too difficult to find, I mean, not exactly easy, but not too difficult. I have all the court documents that were released Friday. I have the flight logs that we were looking at. I got new flight logs. I have his black book with all the names, phone numbers, emails. Phone numbers and emails are redacted, but you got the names. I mean, there's so many names. I barely haven't even gone through some of this stuff. So we'll be doing it live together. I'll take calls. Some of this stuff is disgusting, and I just hope that you guys have the right mindset looking at it. You don't want to get too upset. You don't want to get too down either, So let's take a look at some of this stuff here. Alright, so let me switch it to full screen. Oh, you know what? Let me ask chat. Where do you guys want to start? We can do the black book, we can continue flight logs, or we can look at the court documents released Friday. Yes, Tabby took care of my channel last night, and Mark not. And I just want to thank them. I don't think she's here right now, but I want her to know that. I don't know what's going on. I thought that Amanda might have hit a hotkey, but now I'm starting to think that it's just like, I have no idea, because I was just doing research. I know I didn't hit the hotkey is like a key that's all the way in the corner of the computer that you have no business hitting. I can see the baby hitting it, but my mother has had the baby all weekend. She always takes her on the weekend. They love to spend time together, and that's our time to kind of relax and do our thing. It works out for everybody. But I don't know. What do you guys want to look at? What do you guys want to? And I know where the bodies are buried is all memories transferred. Look up carbon copies. The Frankenstein shit is real. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, she was great. Court docs. Vance says court docs, so let's do it. Bam. Vance makes the call tonight. All right. We'll look at this first. Did you go out, Philly? Good girl. Good girl. All right, go lay down. Go lay down. All right. Come on. What's up? All right. So, this case here, it's not exactly directed at Epstein. This is like a sub case, but this is legit. It says page 1 of 37, but there's actually 354 pages because you know, some of you people who know this stuff better, you know, I know court documents a little bit, but I'm not an expert, but I know a little bit about it. So the Southern District of New York, which is a very interesting district in this whole country, they have some of the you know, it's like they can have some of the biggest cases in this court. It's unbelievable, some of the cases that are out of this court and some of the investigations coming out of there. Some very, you know, a lot of good lawyers out of there. They're always kind of like a wild card too. You know, a lot of big stuff happens out of this court, and it's federal. So let's check it out. This is against, do you guys remember in the flight logs, the GM, his, you know, his Ghislaine Maxwell, his, I would say, his Madam Maxwell. So the first few pages, now mind you, this is 354. So this is basically liability for basically what we're doing right now, like sharing the information and things like that. And the court actually comes to the conclusion that, you know, nobody would be liable for sharing this, and that it's okay. And that's probably why it got released. The court made it so it could be released. So a lot of legal talk, but you know, you have some pretty. A second allegation pertaining to plaintiff's entire story about Miss Maxwell's introduction. Now, also, if you guys were listening the other night, did you guys hear drop a bomb that, you know, he said we're already basically at war. Us going into the, you know, we're in like a, and I've always said that we've kind of been in like this cyber electronic war anyways, shutting down each other's grids, cyber attacks. This has been going on for some time. And Drop made a mention that China, because they were worried about us putting a missile in the UK, China was kind of giving a warning to the UK, like, you better not let them, or, you know, there'll be consequences, all that, you know, basically threats. And we were talking about that, and Drop called in and he said that China had done a cyber attack, although when I checked I didn't see anything. And then all of a sudden the next day, boom, basically almost the whole of the UK was shut down. Their power, everything, trains stopped. I mean, everything. They got hacked by the Chinese, big time. Or did they? Did they know it was about to come out with their Prince Andrew? And maybe that was an operation to extract him? I mean, would you have to shut down the grid of that large a grid? I don't know. I'm kind of going the conspiracy theory way on this one. I think there's more to it. It could be an attack from China, but the UK is saying it wasn't an attack from China. Well, if it wasn't, then what was it? Because it was pretty extensive, and it was your whole grid, and it was multi-layered, and, you know, it was all these different areas and all these different types of things. Everything was down. The trains, everything stopped. Well, it happened right when this was dropped, from Drop as well. So a second allegation pertaining to plaintiff's entire story is the introduction of plaintiff to Prince Andrew is untrue. So in the joinder motion, plaintiff alleged Ms. Maxwell served an important role in Epstein's sexual abuse ring, namely connecting Mr. Epstein to powerful individuals who would sexually abuse plaintiff. That would be, she changed her name, but from what I understand, Virginia, right? Virginia, I think. I'm sorry, I can't even think about that right now, but it's a weird thing to pronounce. It's like but she goes by Virginia now, I think. So let me see, where was that? So Ms. Maxwell introduced plaintiff to Prince Andrew, and she was forced to have sexual relations with this prince on 3 separate geographical locations, including Ms. Maxwell's London apartment. Well, that makes it so that they could actually charge him in London. Would they? Anybody familiar with the UK? How does that work? If your royal family commits a crime, are they above the law? Is that how it goes? How does that work? I know I see the live chat. I have to kind of science aspect. Yes, the science aspect in New Mexico. The experiments on children. Yeah, you guys see what's being said. I would, if this is one of those videos, I would check the live chat as well, because I sent out documents to a few people and they've done their own digging, and there's all kinds of juicy info in the live chat. I just want to point that out. The same type of stuff I've been seeing and hearing. Prince Andrew paid $10,000 and bought a car, and she bought a car with it. Yeah, there's a lot in here. I mean, this is just a tiny. I mean, wait till we get to the exhibits. So, any sexual contact between plaintiff and Prince Andrew, and Prince Andrew did not know, Epstein paid her to have sex with Epstein's friends. So they're saying he didn't know that she was paid. You believe that? I don't. And she, mind you, this isn't just a woman with sexual. This is a child at the time. So there's a lot here, but we can refer back to these. So concluding, the court should grant summary judgment in favor of Miss Maxwell. February 10th, 2017. So I think that they're just kind of talking about. So here's another case though. Virginia Guffey. I've seen her go by another name as well. Now this one. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with chat. Okay. The March 20, in early 2 British tabloid interviews made numerous false and defamatory allegations against Miss Maxwell. In the articles, Miss Guffey made no direct allegations that Miss Maxwell was involved in any improper conduct with Epstein, who had pled guilty in 2007 to procuring a minor for prostitution. Nonetheless, Miss Guffey suggested that Miss Maxwell works with Epstein and may have known about the crime for which she was convicted. This poor girl, it sounds like she really had a fight for this, but sounds like she has some good lawyers as well. So, Miss Guffey denies the allegations she made against Miss Maxwell are false, which we all know that this girl's telling the truth. So defendant's purported facts. So here's what I guess this would be the facts coming from the supposed facts. On behalf of Ghislaine Maxwell, denies the various allegations about her in the media, is unacceptable at letters sent by Ms. Maxwell's legal representative to certain newspapers pointing out the truth and asking for allegations to be withdrawn have simply been ignored. Well, what's the truth? We've seen the flight logs. This woman is on every single flight with. It's a who's who. More defendants converting. Denies the issues. Wow. There's a lot here. Like I said, it's 354 pages. Black book in which defendant and other household staff maintained a roster of underage girls. So that's Exhibit 29. Wow. I knew Thailand would be involved somehow. This has been going on in Thailand was always the hub for this kind of stuff. Sent to Thailand, bearing defendant's phone number. Oh wow, they actually, no, it's I don't know what that is. So, let's get down to the exhibits, because that's where you get some of the juicy stuff here. Oh, there's a lot to take apart in this. I'm going to put a link in the chat, in the description afterwards. Jane Doe 3 is Virginia Roberts, so not a new individual. The allegation made by Virginia Roberts against Ghislaine Maxwell untrue. I mean, is this... So basically they're putting, this is all the UK news, Jewish news online, New York Daily News, talking about Prince Andrew, and so they're saying that it's not true. I don't, or is that they're just like, where does that come from? All right. Did Mr. Maxwell retain services of you or your firm? Yes. Is it your belief? So some of this, I want to get to the really, really good stuff. So this is all about basically her putting it out in the media, and in addition to testimonial evidence, the proof is also in the result. By using Go to issue a press release, defendant caused her statement to be published by numerous major news organizations with wide readership all over the globe. Accordingly, the record evidence shows that Ms. Maxwell, through her agent, had immense control and authority over the media, convincing major news outlets to publish her words based on nothing more than a single email from Go. Now you see how power works? You see how that works? That's very important right here. She had that kind of pull. And it's just based on her word instead of actual facts. So this is going to be like back and forth, that, you did it, no I didn't type of thing. Ms. Guthrie's defamation action against Mr. Maxwell. 8 years after Epstein's guilty plea, Ms. Guthrie brought this action, repeated many of the allegations she made in her CVRA joinder motion. Agreed witness. This is like a back and forth. It's true, it's not true. It's true, it's not true. Let's get to some of the... What is this? Okay, so this is her semester, basically showing that she wasn't really going to her classes. I think that's all they're trying to say there. Was there a period of time between 01 and when she left in 02? Here, she was not working for Jeffrey. Yes. What period of time was that? It was pretty much like when she was actually working as a server, like basically because we were trying to not have her go back there. Like she did not want to go back there. And we were trying to just work without needing his money, So the thing that Virginia was tired of what was it that Virginia was trying to get away from and stop with respect to working at Jeffrey Epstein's house, to stop being used and abused. See, and that's why I see each of these, see Exhibit 4, that's why I want to really get to the exhibits. You know, so this is her. So the gap in school attendance, it shows that she was there. I mean, and this girl, she's working at Taco Bell, she's working at these random places. And then all of a sudden, she's with this billionaire who has, riding, going to meet the prince, having sex with the prince of the United Kingdom. Even though he's German. Let's see. Oh, there's a picture. I don't know how. Maybe that's not. So on January 26, 2001, while underage, Miss Guthrie appears on Rogers' flight log, traveling with Epstein, Maxwell, Emmy Taylor from New Jersey to Palm Beach. I mean, we've looked through these. We know what the deal is. There is no flight record indicating how Guthrie got to New York. On January 27, 2001, continued traveling with Epstein, Maxwell, and Emmy Taylor from Palm Beach to the Virgin Islands, returning from the Virgin Islands 4 days later on January 30th. I mean, this is a child. So here's that. We're familiar with these, right? We know PBI is Palm Beach. Some of these. MCO. I'm not sure about a couple of these, actually. So let's see, Pete Sorensen, Jonathan Mand, but we've seen every single one. JEGM, and it looks like he had like a different assistant at this time. Eventually that became SK. That was always that third name. But let's see. Christy Rogers, a lot of like girls. Runaway. Oh, Runway. Well, Runaway. Wow. I don't know what that says. Here's a picture of her with Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell right there. I mean, look at she's a young girl, very young girl. I don't even like having a picture up. It's kind of weird. Although that picture's everywhere. Here's that AP again. Let's see if we have it. Remember, we never really. I had it. I was saying it might be Alberto Pinto, but maybe we'll find out in here. Oh, this thing moves so fast. Do you know how we're going to go to the islands? No. Is it possible that the Cessna took her on, or the Boeing took her, or any other aircraft that is owned by Jeffrey? No. If I had to guess, I would guess the airlines. And then again, why don't they say who AP is? I really want to know who that is, because he has been involved this whole way, or she. I think it's the Pinto guy, but. So basically, they're going through all their flight log, the flight logs that we were looking at. But we were looking at 2002. These are 2001. Look, just her and Epstein. Yeah, going from the Virgin Islands to Palm Beach. Shelley Lewis, we saw that name a few times as well. Oh, you know what? These are in the ones that we were looking at. We just didn't get to it. So this is more, we were looking at these flight logs. So Miss Guthrie appears on flight number 1570 with Epstein, Maxwell, Sarah Kellen, Cindy Lopez, a lot of familiar names from what we looked at. Jean-Luc Brunel from Palm Beach to the Bahamas. However, there is no record of Guthrie returning to Palm Beach. Virginia Roberts taken to the Bahamas. Do you know where she went from there? I do not. Sean Riley. I mean, some of these names blow your mind. Blow your mind. Virginia Roberts. This is flight. They don't have the flight number. Oh, is this it? 1569. Virginia Roberts. One female. It's like an unidentified. Alfred. Maybe Alfred's the first one. Margarita. Nick Simmons. And from what I hear, somebody who he hates Trump, and I don't like that, but I still think he's funny, and I enjoy watching it. Bill Maher. Now I feel a little bit different about the guy. From what I understand, he's been to that island a few times as well. He didn't look too comfortable in the last show. I'll tell you that. He wasn't himself. And wait until this show. Oof. Now everybody's looking at this stuff. I really want to get to the exhibits here, because so these are all her lawyers. Wow. I really want to get to these, because we have so much stuff. I mean, it's impossible to look at it all, but I want to see some names. I'm telling you, there's somewhere in here, Al Gore pops up in here. I hope I catch it again. Mark Knott, I know that you had seen Al Gore as well. Do you remember what he was involved, what his situation was? Yeah, I really want to get some stuff that's going to blow your mind. Okay. Alright, so now I think we're getting to the exhibits. So I'm sure you guys can see, read it, get a feel for what's what. I know I'm going fast, but there's so much here. Alright, so what's this? It's an email. Thanks again, Shaza. I'm bringing down the house with this book. XOXO, Jenna. Interesting. Don't forget Alan Dershowitz. Oh, we found a gold nugget here. Now this is from Sharon.Churcher. So Sharon Churcher to Virginia Guffey. Don't forget Alan Dershowitz. That lawyer, Harvard lawyer, been all over every single network, denying every little allegation. Oof. With Epstein supposedly gone, I'm telling you, the focus is going to shift to some of the names in these documents. There are a lot of people who are feeling this disturbing feeling that I've been feeling reading this stuff all weekend. Especially after a mysterious supposed death, and it's just, I don't feel bad for him at all. I would rather he be alive and have to and have to live in the cell, and that's what I would like. I don't want him to get the easy way out. But who knows? I don't know if he actually did. I don't know if that was actually the situation. I'm telling you, if you guys just trust me, I've been reading this Q stuff long enough that I think he's pointing us in this direction, that August 15th is going to be a key date. It's going to be supposed 10 days of darkness. So what's that mean? He's going to come back on the 15th? Because they shut down on the 5th. Also, he always is mentioning the suicide weekend. Well, another thing he always says is the future proves the past. And as some of this news breaks, and he says it'll be in the news, the news unlocks, the keystone. He always said the news unlocks the keystone. And I think we're just about there. If this is what I think it is, I think that this was suicide weekend. It's all starting to make more sense. And now, whether he's in witness protection or, because he was a Mossad agent, so I have no idea. But the focus is going to shift. That's what I do know. And even the president, for the first, I've seen him put out some type of conspiracy theory. For him to just straight out put out a video of somebody talking about the Clintons' hit list, Twitter yesterday, they had to end up, and if you tried to search, by the end of the day, if you tried to search for Clinton body bag list or Clinton hit list, nothing would come up. They made it so it was unsearchable because it was trending. The number one, number two trending things were the Clinton hit list and Clinton body bag list, something like that. But let's read this. So don't forget Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's buddy and lawyer. Good name for your pitch, as he repped Claus von Below, and a movie was made about that case. Title was Reversal of Fortune. We all suspect Alan is a pedo, and though no proof of that, you probably met him when he was hanging out with Epstein. I would like to see the response to this. Is there a response? Hi Sharon. Hello gorgeous. I hope this message comes. I almost feel like I'm not supposed to but this was released to the public Friday. So, we were looking at the flight logs. That was kind of different. This was released to the public. It's just a matter of finding it. And like I said, I'm going to put a link in the description afterwards. I should have done it before. I know. It's just, I have this. I have the black book. I have the flight logs. I have so much. It's so much to consume. And after a while, it consumes you. So be careful. I hope this message comes to you on a bright, sunny day. I took your advice about what to offer Sandra, and she accepted. We're drawing up a contract through her agent right now and getting busy to meet my deadline. Just wondering if you have any information on you when you and I were doing interviews about the Jeffrey Epstein story. I wanted to put names of some of these assholes. Oops, I meant to say pedos. This one is funny. That Jeffrey Epstein sent to me. With everything going on, my brain feels like mush, and it would be a great deal of help. Having fun, sweetie? Thanks, Jenna. So it looks like this woman trying to help her, probably help her own career as well, but, trying to help her get the story out. When was that dated? A date on that one. This is back in 2011. So, look how many years it took. That's what happens. It's a billionaire committing probably the worst crime you could commit to have the public, we're in the court of public opinion. The worst crime is crimes against children. And this guy, that's what he was all about. Not just him, but some of your favorite actors, some of your favorite politicians. It's unbelievable. You are obviously right. Hi, buddy. So this is from Virginia to Sharon. You are obviously right. Nail biting is an understatement of the century. We didn't have any trouble with spiders or anything like that yesterday. It was more my daughter that gave everyone the spook. She wandered off when I turned my back at a homemade jam and found her outside in the bush chasing the ruse. My own miniature Tarzan. My fingers and toes are crossed and I'm thinking positive. Much love, Jenna. Well, it says from Virginia and then it says Jenna. I guess she was. I know she's gone by many names. So, I took the kids to Australian. Oh, okay. So ruse, kangaroos. Oh, that's interesting. All right. I was thinking ruse. Okay, that makes some sense. Hopefully you have Virginia's book pitch by now. She has some amazing names which she can share with you in confidence. And I think she also has a human interest story that could appeal to the Oprah female. Well, little did she know. Little did she know, Oprah is the co-founder, owner of the Oxygen Channel, along with someone that we found in the flight logs. Isn't that interesting? You know, she's thinking that Oprah is going to help when her number one business associate is involved. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, so many names. That was only the first. We only went through like a month and a half of flight logs, and we found so many. You guys, for those of you who were there, that was a good time, and we can do some more tonight. I actually even have like some graphics where some people have already kind of found some names in there, but they also missed a couple. Like a couple that we got, it just is unintelligible. So we did pretty good. So let's see. That could appeal to the Oprah female set as well as Wall Streeters who follow Epstein, a hedge fund king. Here are a few of our stories about Virginia, plus some examples of the massive U.S. and other international media pickup. Vanity Fair are doing a piece, I believe, in their August issue. The FBI have reopened the Epstein case due to Virginia's revelations. Good for this girl. I also am attaching a link to a New York. So this is back in June 2011. See, this stuff takes a while. People are saying about Q. Oh, how are you going to, bring down the deep state and reverse, who controls what in the world without losing the control of the world. I mean, it's unbelievable. I am also the blah, blah, blah. So he got off the first time round after retaining Kenneth Starr, who witch hunted Bill Clinton, and Alan Dershowitz, Von Bellow's appeal lawyer, who inspired the movie Reversal of Fortune. The U.S. Department is investigating corruption allegations against at least one prosecutor involved in the case. Best regards, Sharon. And then she sends her a bunch of links. Okay, so here's something else. So here's questions. You don't remember sending them to a photograph that included this wood around another photograph? No. Okay. You have mentioned a journalist by the name of Sharon Churcher. Yes. You are aware that Sharon Churcher published news stories about you? Well, we know they were talking the whole time. Yes. Macaulay, objection. Go ahead. So, is anything that you have read in Sharon Church's news stories about you untrue? I think Sharon did print some things that I think she elaborated or maybe misheard. But, I mean, if you have a specific document to show me, I'd love to look at it and read it and tell you what I think. Is there anything as you sit here today that you know of that Sharon Churcher printed about you that is not true? Not off the top of my head. If you show me like a news clipping article or something, I can definitely read it for you. Is there anything that you know of that Sharon Churcher has printed about Ghislaine Maxwell that is not true? No, not off the top of my head. Is there anything you recall? Sharon Churcher? Wow, blah, 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 huh? Oh, whoa, we just came across a big name. I want to see the... Okay, alright, big name incoming. If you guys caught that. And just before you continue, I just want to identify for the record, since this doesn't have any identifiers on it, are you representing that these are statements from Sharon Churcher? I'm not representing anything. I'm asking the witness questions about these statements. I asked her, is anything on here not true? That's all I asked her. So which ones did you put check marks by, Miss Guffrey? I'd have been about 17 at the time. I flew to the Caribbean with Jeffrey and then Ghislaine Maxwell. Went to pick up Bill. I think we know who that is. Alright, Bill Clinton. In a huge black helicopter that Jeffrey had bought her. Oh my God. That's unbelievable. Okay, and what else did you put a check by? I used to get frightened flying with her, but Bill had the Secret Service with him, and I remember him talking about what a good job she did. Sorry, job she did. Okay, what else did you put a check mark by? Donald Trump was also a good friend of Jeffrey's. He didn't partake in any sex with any of us, but he flirted with me. He'd laugh and tell Jeffrey, "You've got the life." I mean, kind of, I could hear guys talking like that, but if he's aware they're underage, that's not exactly puts him in the best light. But I'm happy to see that he didn't get involved with any of that. And that's, I mean, she says that outright. He didn't partake in any sex with any of us, but he did kind of flirt. You know, other than the three you've just mentioned, yeah, everything else in here is absolutely accurate. Objection. Yes, well, to the best of my recollection, yes. Alright, what is inaccurate about? I'd have been about 17 at the time. I flew to the Caribbean with Jeffrey, and then Ghislaine Maxwell went to pick up Bill in a huge black helicopter that Jeffrey had bought her, because it makes it kind of sound like an eyewitness thing. Okay, did you say that statement to Sharon Churcher? I said to Sharon that Ghislaine told me that she flew Bill in the black helicopter that Jeffrey bought her, and I just wanted to clarify that I didn't actually see her do that. I heard from Ghislaine that she did that. You heard from Ghislaine, and then you reported to Sharon Churcher that you had heard that from Ghislaine? Correct. Objection. I heard a lot of things from Ghislaine that sounded too true, too outrageous to be true. But you never knew what to believe, so... Okay, he kind of cuts her off. And after Sharon Church... Oh, man. Did I just mess this up? God damn it, man. Wow, I actually just came right to it. How is that possible? That's crazy. It was meant to be. And after Sharon Churcher printed what she said, you said, did you complain to her that it was inaccurate? I might have verbally with her, but again, I didn't see a point in making a hissy over it, because what was done was done. She had already printed. What was inaccurate about I used to get frightened flying with her, but Bill said had the Secret Service with him, and I remember him talking about what a good job she did. I just don't remember saying that to her. I don't remember saying I remember talking about what a good job she did. Alright. So that's the inaccurate. That, you know, I don't remember him saying that she did a good job. Okay. Took a long way to get there. But a few names popped out. I'm going to check on chat real quick. I just want to see how you guys are doing. Yeah, I know. He came up and you know, it sounds like this girl's being honest. And, you know, she just kind of... So, we'll continue here. Okay. Okay. Alright. I just don't remember that at all. Okay. And I guess, just to be clear, my questions wasn't, do you remember saying this to Sharon Churcher? My question is that statement accurate? Well, objection. Did you used to get frightened flying with her? Yes. Okay. Did Bill have the Secret Service with him? They were there, but not like not where we were eating. Do you remember Bill talking about what a good job she did? I don't remember that. So what is inaccurate about that statement? Man, this lawyer is a pain in the ass, huh? Damn, she just doesn't remember him saying that she did a good job. It's inaccurate because he's trying to get her shook. You know what I mean? This is what these poor lawyers are doing. You know, these... Oh. I mean, by now, I think she's a young woman, right? But still, you know, her mind is probably fragmented from all the abuse, and it's probably tough for her. And, you know, it seems like he's trying to rattle her. She keeps having to, like, It's inaccurate because I don't remember him talking about what a good job she did. God damn it. All right. You got it, buddy? Any more questions about that? Does it inaccurately suggest that Bill had the Secret Service with him on a helicopter? Objection. Well, not being an eyewitness to it, I won't be able to tell you. I can't tell you what I don't know. And do you believe you said that statement to Sharon Churcher? I mean, Sharon and I talked a lot, and if she misheard me or just wrote it on the way that she thought she should, I have no control over that, so I'm not too sure. So it seems like this lawyer, what he's trying to really do is disprove the whole Bill Clinton thing. That seems to be what, even though he's the defendant of Ghislaine Maxwell, I mean, when you got Bill Clinton involved, going to this island with the Secret Service as well, they're trying to pick apart every word of the published story. I mean, this isn't even her words. This is a report that, Sharon, the one she was emailing, that we were talking over it. She put out the story, and now it's like every word. So, and if she misheard me or just wrote it in the way that she thought she should, I have no control over that, so I'm not too sure. Did she record your interviews? Some of them she didn't. I mean, we met for like a week, and we spent a lot of time together, and then even after that, we just continued like kind of a friendship. All right, what's inaccurate about the last statement on that page? Donald Trump was also a good friend of Jeffrey's. That part is true. He didn't partake in any with any of us, but he flirted with me. It's true that he didn't partake in any sex with us. I mean, this is like a group of young girls. And it's so weird that we're looking all the way back, and it's Clinton, it's Trump. It's Clinton, it's Trump. It's so, isn't that just odd? Of everybody in the world. That's why there's more to this. There is more to it. The names involved are just too common day. It's just, there's more going on here. But it's not true that he flirted with me. Donald Trump never flirted with me. Oh. So, from her mouth, so that was the one thing that they said. They said Donald Trump, she's saying he didn't. So, that was the writer kind of putting that in there, which is weird. I mean, that's not mishearing somebody. That's an accusation. That's, she should have known that that's going to come up if it's not true. Then the next sentence is, he'd laugh and tell Jeffrey, you've got the life. I never said that to her. So that's untrue as well. So it's kind of funny how it seems almost even like back then, she's trying to almost kind of clarify that Donald Trump didn't flirt with me. He didn't say you got the life to Jeffrey Epstein, even though this woman wrote it. And this is the witness saying, no, that's not true. But the stuff with Bill is. The only thing that they really had a problem with on that one was, did he say that she does a good job? Because that sounds shady, especially when you put it in the context of where they're going and what goes on there and what they've uncovered now. So, when you say he didn't, I mean, this guy just butchers stuff. He didn't partake in any sex with any of us. Who is us? Girls. Just, how do you know who Donald Trump had sex with? Oh, I didn't physically see him have sex with any of the girls, so I can't say who he had sex with in his whole life or not, but I just know it wasn't with me when I was with other girls. And who were the other girls that you were with in Donald Trump's presence? None. There, I work for Donald Trump, and I've met him probably a few times. When have you met him? At Mar-a-Lago. So it sounds like, Trump's story kind of checks out. My dad and him. I wouldn't say they were friends, but my dad knew him, and they would talk all the time. Well, not all the time, but when they saw each other. Have you ever been in Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein's presence with one another? No. So then how could he say, you have the life? It seems like even back then, it was like, I don't know. Now I'm starting to question this writer, and it it makes you question this girl seems like she's telling the truth to me, but this writer seems like she really went out of her way to elaborate, and that's what the witness says as well. What is the basis for your statement that Donald Trump is a good friend of Jeffrey's? Jeffrey told me that Donald Trump is a good friend of his, but you never observed them together. No, not that I can actually remember. I mean, not off the top of my head. No. When did Donald Trump flirt with you? He didn't. That's what's inaccurate. Did you ever see Donald... See, that made me feel good when I read that. Did you ever see Donald Trump at Jeffrey's home? Not that I can remember. On his island? No. Not that I can remember. In New Mexico? No, not that I can remember. In New York? Not that I can remember. Alright, if you could turn to the second page and read through those, let me check if any of those are inaccurate. Just put a check by them and we'll come back. Okay. And then before you go, Virginia, I'm going to object to the use of the second page of this document. There's no time frame on it. There's no source reference to it, so it's entirely unclear where this has come from. Okay, are you done? Yes. Okay, what's the first one you put a check by? The hammock photo was all over the houses. Let me see. The hammock photo? In parentheses. And Bill Clinton and, Bill Clinton and Andrew, in parentheses, had to have seen it. Ooh, she's talking about Prince Andrew there. All over the house. All over the houses is not my statement and an exaggeration. They did have that picture in the houses. What picture? I want to see it. And I believe, if I remember the conversation correctly, she asked, could have Bill Clinton and Andrew seen the picture? And I said, yes, it's possible that they could have seen it. So, I mean, it's just that it's not that it's totally inaccurate. I just think it's like journalist writing, had to have seen it. It doesn't mean they saw it. I just think that if it was in front of them, they would have seen it. I mean, he had a lot of, like, crazy art. I've seen a lot of stuff from in his house that's, just crazy. Like, he built in, like boobs so he could touch when he's in his bath. I mean, like literally breasts all over the tub. So then you could grab them. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, sex is great and all, but, like, isn't that a little much? I mean, like, you need it while you're taking it. You need the, I don't know, it's weird, but, I mean, it seems like he was trying to build, like, this billionaire, go and hook up with lost children type of island. Very sick stuff. Okay, so she told you that. You told her that the photograph was in the houses. Houses? Yes, I know he had it in New York on his desk. I know he had it in Palm Beach. I know he had it in the Caribbean. I don't know if he had it in New Mexico. I can't remember New Mexico, maybe. Where in Palm Beach was the photograph? The massage room. Was that, you did not say that it was all over the houses. What is this photograph? Correct. All over the houses would imply that it's everywhere in the house. So she sounds like an honest witness. She's really trying to... You did not say that Andrew and Clinton had to have seen the photograph. Correct. It was more of a, if they were in front of it, they would have seen it kind of thing. I'm not saying it's right, but it wasn't like had to have seen it. Alright, what's the next statement that you put a check by? I'm sorry, excuse me. My kids shared a beautiful cough with me again. I spent 4 years as a billionaire personal masseuse. What is that about my kids? Wait, I'm sorry, excuse me. My kids shared a beautiful cough with me again. I spent 4 years as a millionaire's personal masseuse. What is inaccurate about this statement? We now know, according to the timelines, that Mar-a-Lago was able to provide for us that it was not 4 years. How many years was it? More like 2.5, I think, if I'm right, or 2. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at math. But yes, the 2 period. What's the next statement that you have put a check by? I was a pedophile's dream. I think she took that out of context and made that her own little headline. Did you say that to her? I said something along the line like, the pedos love me because I would do everything that they wanted for them. But do I think that, yeah, I know that she made that line up herself, the pedophile's dream. What's the next one you put a check? Ooh, man. Wow. I put a question mark next to the next one. It says 3 years later that she was reunited with her family. I don't know what that pertains to. I don't know what timeline that means. Was there a period of 3 years where you were not with your family? It has been longer periods than that when I wasn't with my family. What is up with her family? I have a little girl. If she was, how old was this girl supposed to be? 16? She could just live at a billionaire's mansion for years and be in this place where they just bring guys in and force her to have sex with them? A masseuse? That's sick. Where were her parents? That's another question. And her dad was friends with Trump? So it sounds like she probably came from a family with money. But then again, she was working at places like Taco Bell. But, a lot of, rich people sometimes, they don't want their kids to be spoiled, and they make them understand the value of $1. But I don't know. If her parents run around this whole 2.5-year period, and they just, she's flying around in helicopters with the former president and all that, with the Prince of UK. I don't know. Not good parents at all. When I wasn't with my family, that's what I mean. I don't understand where that comes from. 3 years later, she was reunited with her family. She almost makes it sound like she was stolen and then reunited. Prior to 2002, was there a period of 3 years where you were not with your family? No. Okay. Did you say to Sharon Churcher, 3 years later, she was reunited with her family? That's what I don't understand. I don't even know what the time period pertains to. Do you recall saying that to Sharon Churcher? No. What's the next one you put a check by? After about 2 years, she started to ask me to entertain his friends. Talking about Ghislaine. What's wrong with that statement? It wasn't 2 years. I don't know where she got that from. Okay. How long was it? I can't give you an exact time period, but it wasn't right in the beginning. It was after my training, or so to speak, training. I probably just meant being with him. So, my best guesstimate would be anywhere between 4 to 6 months. So you did not say to Sharon Churcher, after about 2 years, he asked me to entertain his friends. Correct. Well, what she's saying is after about 4 months. You know what I mean? Why doesn't he fall? You can tell he's trying to lead her one way, but that's the point across. And then the other lawyer will clear that up. Okay. What's the next one you put a check by? That's it. That's all I put a check mark next to. So the rest of these are absolutely accurate. Nothing a journalist writes is absolutely accurate, but it sounds accurate, yes. Do you recall Jeffrey Epstein saying to you, I've got a good friend and I need you to fly to the island to entertain him, massage him, and make him feel how you make me feel? Objection. Go ahead. I do remember him saying that, and I think that's more of a generalization for all the times that I was sent to the island to entertain people. And that would be a quote that she made, but from my words saying that, what he said to me when I had to go because with these people that he sent me to. Did you say that sentence to her? Objection. I can't remember. Like I said, I think it's more of a generalization. Did you meet Al Gore? Yes. Did you meet Heidi Klum? Yes. Did you meet Naomi Campbell? Yes. Did you go on a 6-week trip with Epstein in 2001? Yeah. Yes. Sorry. When in 2001 did you go on a 6-week trip with him? I don't remember exactly when it was, but it's the one where we went to Tangier, Morocco, England. I can't remember where else we went. France. Did the FBI tell you that Epstein had hidden cameras watching you the entire time, even when you were in the bathroom? Now that is a bombshell there, because that will also capture all of these, they have all the tapes of all these people down there. So imagine, we know Clinton was down there. He seems to be a main focus of this, and if Trump was down there, they would have cameras to be able to, hopefully, I would hope, to clear his name. So that means he had cameras everywhere running at all times. So it captures the stuff he wanted to see and the stuff the FBI might want to see. You know what I'm saying? Did the FBI tell you everything he did was illegal because I was underage? Yes. Who in the FBI told you that? Whichever agent I was talking to. Which agent were you talking to? Well, obviously she can't remember. I can't remember. I know I was talking to Jason Richards, and there was a girl. I think I want to say her name was Christina Pryor, just off the top of my head. And then I think there was 2 other agents actually at the consulate building. I don't remember their names. Very hazy. When was this conversation with the FBI? After Sharon printed the articles, the first articles that came out, I don't know how many she printed, but when the first articles came out, after that the FBI contacted me. And was the statement that the FBI told you everything he did was illegal because I was underage, in response to you telling them that you were at age 15 when you met Jeffrey? Objection. Well, that was the closest proximity I had to go off. Okay. So yes, although I still was underage, even if I was 16 and 17. Okay, then if you could do the last page the same way, a check by anything that's not absolutely accurate. Okay, I'm going to object to this as the last page has no identifier of time or source on it. Okay, I'm ready. Alright, which ones are inaccurate? The first one is Virginia got a part-time job as a changing room assistant. I was a full-time person there. Sorry. Okay, so did you say that to Sharon? Again, I don't remember that exact conversation, but I know it was a full-time job. And full-time as in the, 9 to 5 or whatever hours it was. So it wasn't part-time. I don't remember the exact conversation that we had. Okay, what's the next thing you put a check by? I put a question mark next to another lady led me into Jeffrey's bedroom. The lady walked me straight into the massage room. I have no idea what circumstance that pertains to. Again, I don't know what that means. I don't even know what the other lady she's talking about. So you don't recall saying that to Sharon Churchill? Correct. I don't even know what it means. Okay, what's the next one you have to check by? Afterwards, she was given 2 $100 bills and told to return the next day. That was the beginning of the 4 years she spent with Epstein. Alright, what's wrong with that statement? Well, again, I just want to say, so this is Ghislaine Maxwell that gave the money, I guess? That the 4 years was inaccurate based upon memory and not an actual timeline that we were able to get. Did you say that to Sharon Churchill, that it was 4 years? I don't know if I said that to her or, oh yeah, did I tell her it was 4 years? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Okay, what else did you put a check mark by? Well, this one is a question mark again. Radar Online # has obtained exclusive diary entries of a teen sex slave. It wasn't really a diary. It was like, I don't know how many pages or something that I wrote, and Sharon used it. So, did you tell Sharon it was your diary entry? She knew it wasn't a diary entry. No. Okay. Were you a teen sex slave? Yes. What's the next one you have a check mark by? I also saw Prince Andrew at a ranch in New Mexico, which, if you guys have been watching the live chat, you'll see little bits of info about that place, and we'll be talking about that as well. Did you tell that to Sharon Churcher? No. And I think it's a mistake. Maybe she meant somewhere else, but because we have been talking about so much, maybe she just put New Mexico. I don't think Sharon intentionally lied on any of these. I think we talked so much over a period of a week, and then after that we had phone conversations and so on and so forth, and that some of the information just got misheard or mishandled or whatever. And what was printed was inaccurate? And she said, was that printed? I don't remember reading that in the newspapers, but if it was printed, it's inaccurate. Do you recall reading any of the ones that you put a check mark by in the papers? There's been so much printed, it's hard for me to remember. I mean, yes, it does sound like stuff I read before. When you spoke with Sharon Churcher, you agreed to waive your anonymity. What's that movie where you can't say that word? Anonymity. I did. I mean, none of this is funny, but, trust me, I've been in this all weekend. You gotta lighten it up a little bit. Why did you agree to do that? I felt it was a time for me to tell my story. I mean, this girl's brave. Think about that. A girl, and that's gotta mess up. It's been proven. This type of stuff, they know it. It'll fragment the mind. And it'll make them capable later in life of doing things that we couldn't even imagine. And it's if there was some, especially if there was like some ritual satanic stuff going on, they fragment the mind. All right, but let's stick to the facts here, right? I had done so much healing, and I felt it was a good time for me to come forward. I had done so much healing, and I thought that it would be good for other people to hear what's going on, how it's happening, how vulnerable other girls can be, and not even know the damage that it causes later in life. I think that's what I was just talking about. And I just thought it would be the right thing to do to come forward. You authorized her to publish your name? I did. And your photograph? Yes. In 2011? I think that was the year. Yes. So this is more recent here. I believe this is 2016. By the way, you posed for photographs with her, and then it just stops. Okay, so that was very interesting, huh? So yeah, November 2016, it seems like some of this. So, is this some list of facts? Epstein did invite two young brunettes to a dinner which he gave on his Caribbean island for Mr. Clinton shortly after he left office. See, for some of you guys, is it starting to make more sense? People are like, the Clintons have no power. The Clintons still have some power, trust me. They have people in positions all over the place. They know what's going on. So that's why at first I believed that theory, and I actually thought someone helped him. Someone kind of gave him like a poison, because there's no way that you can hang yourself in that situation. There's no way. I don't see that. I'd have been about 7. So here's where she put the checks. I flew to Canada. So we can read this whole thing now. I remember she was very excited because she got her license. So what is this? Epstein did invite two young for Mr. Clinton shortly after he left office. And you would think, with all the sex scandals, he wouldn't be going to these islands with underage girls. But I'm telling you, some people are sick. And they're so sick, I don't know. And then Al Gore as well. It's crazy. It's crazy. These are the people running the free world, and this is what they're into. It just really puts things in perspective. It really does. Absolute power absolutely corrupts. And, a lot of Secret Service agents have come out, and they've talked more about Hillary, that Hillary's even worse. But let's stick to the facts, right? I'd have been about 17 at the time. I flew to the Caribbean with Jeffrey, and then Ghislaine Maxwell went to pick up Bill in a huge black helicopter that Jeffrey had bought her. So we remember going over that. I remember she was very excited because she got her license around the first year we met. I used to get frightened flying with her, but Bill had the Secret Service with him, and I remember him talking about what a good job she did. Well, she disputed that fact. I don't remember seeing Bill again on the trip, but I assume Ghislaine flew him back. Virginia disclosed that Mr. Clinton's Vice President Al Gore and his wife Tipper were also guests of Epstein on his island. Virginia has said that yet another American liberal icon, Senator George Mitchell, frequently visited Epstein's New York residence. Mr. Mitchell, age 77, was very close to Jeffrey, Virginia recalled. I also met Naomi Campbell at a birthday of hers on a yacht in the south of France. She is a friend of Ghislaine, but she was a real bitch to me. So any Naomi Campbell fans out there, sounds like she's a bitch. And maybe she just kind of looked at her. She didn't realize her age, and she just looked at her like a whore. I don't know. You know what I mean? And sometimes girls do look older than they are. But, I don't know. Donald Trump was also a good friend of Jeffrey's. He didn't partake in any sex with any of us, but he flirted with me. He'd laugh and tell Jeffrey, "You've got the life." Now, if you weren't reading this earlier with us, she said that none of that's true. She never said that he flirted with me, and she never said he'd laugh. She said that she never even saw the two of them together. But she said this was true, that he was a good friend and he didn't partake in any sex. And then it was funny. You would think that her lawyer, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer, wouldn't want to dig deeper into that, but it almost seemed like he wanted to get something on Trump. It was weird. You know what I mean? Like, how does that benefit her? So that was kind of weird as well. Makes you think. And this is in 2016. November 2016. So, wow. Isn't that election month? So that's why he was such a focus. Okay. Makes more sense. Ghislaine took nude pictures of me lying naked in a hammock, posed with my legs open, a bit provocatively, that I gave to Jeffrey for his birthday. That's the picture they were talking about when they kept on saying that the prince and Bill must have seen this picture. We should have just went straight to this and then back to the questions. But like I said, so many documents. The hammock photo was all over the houses, and Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew had to have seen it. I spent 4 years as a millionaire's personal masseuse. I was living on the streets, beaten up, and slept with at least 2 older men in return for food. While on the streets, I slept with men for money. I was a pedophile's dream. 3 years later, she was reunited with her family. After about 2 years, he started to ask me to entertain his friends. It was really 4 months, 4 to 6 months. She recalls, he said, "I've got a good friend and I need you to fly to the island, entertain him, massage him, and make him feel how you make me feel." The way it usually worked was I'd been sent to meet a man on the private island Jeffrey owned in the Caribbean or at his ranch in New Mexico, which was really isolated. I met famous friends of his such as Al Gore, Heidi Klum, and Naomi Campbell. She was, she says, delighted when Epstein invited her to accompany him on a 6-week trip in 2001. FBI told me that Epstein had hidden cameras watching me the entire time, even when I was in the bathroom. I was so embarrassed. The FBI told me everything he did was illegal because I was underage. Virginia got a part-time job as a change room assistant. I told Ghislaine I wanted to become a masseuse, and she said she worked for a very wealthy gentleman who was looking for a traveling masseuse. I'd get training and be paid well. Another lady led me into Jeffrey's bedroom. The lady walked me straight through into the massage room. Afterwards, she was given two $100 bills and told to return the next day. That was the beginning of the 4 years she spent with Epstein. Radar Online has obtained exclusive diaries of teen sex slave. I led Prince Andrew up into the upstairs bathroom next to the room I was staying in. So these she is not objecting to, by the way. The check marks, there was something that she says might be off. I was doing my best, trying to put on a good show for him by slowly undressing and starting to pour a bath. He was caressing every part of my naked body and filled my head with endless compliments about my blossoming figure. This is weird. But let's continue. He paid careful attention to my toes and was licking them. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. So he likes to lick the toes. I never understood that, but some people are like that. I also saw Prince Andrew at the ranch in New Mexico. Okay, so now Exhibit QQ. But first, let me check back in with you guys. I just want to make sure that I want to read what you guys want to see. Yeah, total freak. Disgusting. That felt awkward to have to read that. But what do you guys think? Yeah, foot fetish. Should I continue? Or do you want to go to flight logs? Or do you want to see the black book? Maybe I'll continue this. We'll keep going because now we're in the exhibits. This is where it gets interesting. Yeah, and this royal man friggin' licking the toes of a young girl. It's disgusting. He knew she was underage. This is damning because she seems like a good witness as well, too, All right. So I'm just trying to check out live chat. Anybody? Everyone good? Continue? Okay. Oh, that's the black book. We'll get to that. Wow, that's a big... Alright, that's the black book right there. I almost opened. Alright. So, what do we got here? This is Sharon Church. I hope you are stopping to smell the daffodils once in a while. And this is from Virginia. Okay. And having a good day. I am so excited today because I can go sign with an agent as my contract is finished with mail on Sunday. Yeah. Sandra and I have been working really hard to get me ready for the trip to the U.S. in a few weeks, and I was wondering if I could use your advice again. She has got an international agent who is interested in speaking with me, and I don't want to say yes to the first bite because I'm not sure what to look for in an agent. What could you recommend that I do? I will send Jared and Irene, your recommended agents, a copy of the synopsis and sample chapters. But how do I choose the right one for this story? Do you know anyone else that might be interested in this as well? If so, I am keen on speaking with anyone who might be. I am so excited about this and will keep you updated with the progressing events. When I am in New York, we have to meet up for some city shopping and take the kids to Central Park to see the zoo. Given there will be no masturbating kangaroos for you to make friends with, but who knows? I am looking forward to showing Robbie around, and he's got some family out there, and we'll have to catch up with. Such busy times, but I'm loving it. Anyways, I hope you're taking care, and catch me up on something, your fun times. Okay, so, and then she signs it Jenna. I don't know why, but I've always heard that she uses different names. So again, the Southern District Court confidential videotaped deposition of Virginia Guffrey. I mean, none of this was available until this weekend. So I bet you a lot of you guys haven't seen this stuff. So let's see what some of these exhibits will be. Complaint and demand for jury trial. Read Jane Doe number 102 versus Jeffrey Epstein. Jane Doe number 3, who we know that Virginia is Jane Doe number 3, by the way, but there's other girls as well. And Jane Doe number 4's motion pursuant to Rule 21 for joinder in action. Declaration of Virginia Guffrey, read Jane Doe number 1 and Jane Doe number 2 versus United States of America. Maybe it switches up. Maybe she, in this case, she's Jane Doe number 1. In the past, I know she, in another case or whatever, they had Jane Doe number 3. We'll see. Declaration of Jane Doe number 3, read Jane Doe number 1 and Jane Doe number 2 versus United States of America. Versus United States of America. Declaration of Virginia Guffrey with Bradley Edwards, that's her lawyer, and Paul G. Castle versus Alan Dershowitz. FBI documentation, date of entry 7513, document titled Telecom, participants Jack Scarbola, Brad Edwards, Virginia Roberts, Edwards, Epstein. The Billionaires Playboy Club by Virginia Roberts. Plaintiff's response and objection to defendant's first set of discovery request to plaintiffs Reed Guffrey versus Maxwell. Okay. I think we'll get it when we get to it. There's a lot. Some names have been changed in order to protect other people. I wonder. Okay. Protect their privacy? Protect their privacy, yeah. So she's talking about other girls. Okay. Yeah, I would say just not getting them involved in if this were to ever go public. Well, it's public. And, this was released publicly. They want this out there. And it was released literally right before he died. We're talking about less than 12 hours before he died. This was released officially. Late Friday, died early Saturday. Interesting, right? Wow. Okay. So, I'm not, it is what it is. Out there, so. Well, again, without rereading the whole manuscript, reading it, I'm trying to see if I can see something in here. Let me narrow my question and maybe that will help. Is there anything, well, first of all, did you offer that entire manuscript? Yes, I did. Did anyone else author part of the manuscript? Did anyone else write this with me? Right. No. That's all you're writing? This is my writing. Okay, to the best of your recollection, as you sit here right now, is there anything in that manuscript about Ghislaine Maxwell that is untrue? I don't believe so. Like I said, there is a lot of stuff that I actually have left out of here. So there is a lot more information I could put in there. I wonder, wow, maybe that comes later. But as far as Ghislaine Maxwell goes, so she's trying to narrow the focus on Maxwell. I would like to say that there is 99.9% of it would be to the correct knowledge. All right, is there anything that and I understand that you're doing this from memory, is there anything that you recall as you're sitting here today about Ghislaine Maxwell that is contained in the manuscript that is not true? I haven't read this in a very long time. I don't believe that there's anything in here about Ghislaine Maxwell that is not true. I just asked counsel if you have any specific to show her about Ghislaine Maxwell. I'll ask questions. I'll have her look at it. I'll ask questions. I know. Wow, so the lawyer's going back and forth. Where's the judge? I know, but I want the record clear that if she hasn't read it in a long, and then it stops. Wow, that's weird. Okay. Very weird. What do we got here? So we got the statement, the undisputed facts, and here they are. It is an undisputed fact that multiple witnesses deposed in this case have testified that defendant operated as convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein's procurer of underage girls. It is an undisputed fact that Joanna Solberg testified defendant lured her from her school to have sex with Epstein under the guise of hiring her for a job answering phones. It is an undisputed fact that Tony Figueroa testified that defendant would call him to bring over underage girls and that defendant and Epstein would have threesomes with Miss Guthrie. It is an undisputed fact that Ronaldo Rizzo testified that defendant took the passport of a 15-year-old Swedish girl and threatened her when she refused to have sex with Epstein. It is an undisputed fact that Lynn Miller testified that she believed defendant became Miss Guthrie's new mama. It is an undisputed fact that Detective Joseph Riccieri testified that he sought to investigate defendant in relation to his investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. It is an undisputed fact that pilot David Rogers testified that he flew defendant and Miss Guthrie at least 23 times on Epstein's jet, the Lolita Express, and that GM on the flight log stands for Ghislaine Maxwell, as we all know from the last show. Not the last one, but you know what I mean. When we did the flight logs, and we only did a month and a half. We still have so much to go through. But like I said, I have so much documents. It's unbelievable. But this seems to be the best. This is the. I also just got the actual like black book too. So, all right. It is undisputed fact that Sarah Kellen, we remember her. She was the assistant. Nadia Markanova and Jeffrey Epstein invoked the Fifth Amendment when asked about defendant trafficking girls for Jeffrey Epstein. It is undisputed fact that Juan Alisi testified that defendant was one of the people who procured some of the over 100 girls. Wow. I mean, I knew it. But, I mean, they can say it as an undisputed fact of over 100 girls. Sounds like those tapes came in handy. Wow. He witnessed visit Epstein that he had to clean defendant's sex toys. It is an undisputed fact that defendant is unable to garner a single witness throughout discovery who can testify that she did not act as the procurer of underage girls and young women for Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, sounds pretty bad. Document evidence also shows that defendant trafficked Miss Guthrie and was procured her for sex with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, he was already a convicted pedophile and still doing this stuff. Right? No. That's not correct. But this is, I'm sure he was, but as far as this case, this is around the same time. This was before. All right, to be clear. The flight logs, the photographs, the victim ID letter, New York hospital records, Judith Lightfoot's psychological records, message pad, the black book. I have the whole black book. They'll probably have it, more pertaining to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is her trial, not Epstein, to be clear. But he's all over it. It's all because of him. She's basically on trial for being a madam, except she do it with underage girls and lure them from schools and then all of a sudden be with Bill Clinton in his chopper with the Secret Service. It's just amazing. It's amazing when the people running the world, the most powerful people. You think they're all clean and wow, this person's really a good person. They're the worst. Sex slave, Amazon.com book receipt, Thailand folder with defendant's phone number. It is an undisputed fact that the FBI report and the Church of emails reference Ms. Guthrie's account of sexual activity with Prince Andrew that she made in 2011, contrary to defendant's argument that Ms. Guthrie never made such claims until 2014. Alright, let me get to it. Let's see. Actually, this is like the defendant claim is untrue or an obvious lie that Maxwell and Epstein converted Ms. Guthrie into a sexual slave is not substantially true. Any statement of misdirection regarding Professor Alan Dershowitz is nothing more than an irrelevant distraction to the facts of this case, and matter is not on the defense of whether the defendant's statement was substantially true. Yeah, Dershowitz, he has to, I can't stand him. He had to make sure that he was kind of, he's trying to clear himself. Let's keep it to Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, your time's coming, buddy. Contrary to defendant's position, there is a genuine issue of material fact as whether she created, distributed child pornography or whether the government was aware of same. Defendant did act as a madam for Epstein to traffic Ms. Guthrie to the rich and famous. Conclusion. Alright, so these are all the different cases that came out of this. Or no, these are reference cases, I would say. So they, usually it's not unprecedented, some of these things, and they go back to another ruling, to decide a case. So these are like reference cases, I believe, because we got 73, we got 2058. So it seems like reference cases. Kind of like, when you talk about abortion, you talk about Roe versus Wade. You know what I mean? All right, so keep that going. See what else we got down here. Oh, is this like the summary? Oh, yeah, this is, okay. Preliminary statement. There can be no question that disputed issues of material facts preclude granting summary judgment when in a one-count defamation case, defendant presents the court with a 68-page memorandum of law, a 16-page statement of purported facts, and approximately 700 pages of exhibits. And that's what I'm trying to say. This is long. This is 354 pages. However, from what I understand, there's about 2,000 pages. So there's more to be released. And I think they're going to be released along with some other stuff. And I think there's even going to be the FISA D-class on the 15th, which is a date that keeps coming up. But I honestly think that Q was potentially the real deal. Could have been AI, but potentially the real deal. And that we are right now in that 10 days of darkness with the boards being down, 8 chans down, and then that was on the 5th, I believe they shut it down, and 10 days of darkness, that would be the 15th. And then also, he's always talking about suicide weekend. Well, I guess that we are in it. This is suicide weekend, and all this stuff gets released, and there's still, so here's 354, that means there's another 16 to 1700 pages coming. 7 times as much. She casts upon Ms. Guthrie and her counsel should not distract the court from the fact that the instant motion cannot come within sight of meeting the standard of an award of summary judgment. The most glaring and emblematic example of the defendant's far-fetched claims appears in her attempt to move away from her defamatory statement by arguing that it was her attorney and not her who issued the defamatory statement for the press to publish, though she is forced to admit the statement was made on her behalf. This is an untenable position to take at trial and an impossible argument to advance at the summary judgment stage, as both testimony and documentary evidence positively refute that argument. Defendant incorrectly asked this court to make a factual. Alright, so but by a lawyer to the media despite documented evidence showing otherwise. Alright, defendant also argues that she has proven the truth of her statement, calling Ms. Guthrie a liar with respects to the statements Ms. Guthrie made about the defendant, meaning Ghislaine Maxwell. To the contrary, voluminous evidence, both documentary and testimony from numerous witnesses, corroborate Ms. Guthrie's account of the defendant's involvement in the sexual abuse and trafficking of Ms. Guthrie. Just to briefly highlight a few, Johanna Solberg testified that the defendant recruited her under the guise of a legitimate assistant position, but asked her to perform sexual massages for Epstein, and punished her when she didn't cause Epstein to orgasm. Wow. Tony Figueroa testified that defendant contacted him to recruit high school-age girls for Epstein. I mean, why not college girls? Why not? I don't get it. And also testified that Maxwell, and that's still like weird, but this is criminal. This is so bad. It's disgusting. Even more shockingly, the butler for defendant's close friend witnessed firsthand a 15-year-old Swedish girl crying and shaking because defendant was attempting to force her to have sex with Epstein and she refused. This is a fraction of the testimony that will be elicited at trial. Oof. With the defendant's involvement in the sexual abuse and trafficking of Ms. Guthrie. So this is a lot here. As a minor child, is that employment record show that Ms. Guthrie was either 16 or 17 when the defendant recruited her job at Mar-a-Lago for sex with Epstein. So she left Mar-a-Lago and then went to do the whole masseuse sex thing for Epstein. Not 15 years old, as plaintiff originally thought. Called this the "yes, I'm a sex trafficker, but only of 16-year-old girls" defense. Oof. Defendant does not explain why sexual abuse of a 15-year-old differs in any material way from sexual abuse of a 16 or 17-year-old. All instances involve a minor child who cannot consent and who is protected by federal and state laws. All right. So I'm not even sure. Oh, okay. So we already went over so basically what we went over before seems to be it's like a undisputed fact index, and then it goes into it. So these girls are one for sex with Epstein, as well as scheduling the girls to come over and maintaining a list of the girls and their phone numbers. Ms. Guthrie was indisputably a minor when defendant recruited her to have sex with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Thereafter, Ms. Guthrie flew on Epstein's private jet, the Lolita Express, with defendant at least 23 times. That number. It is an undisputed fact that multiple witnesses deposed in this case have testified that defendant operated as convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein's procurer of underage girls. It is an undisputed fact that Johanna Solberg testified defendant lured her from her school to have sex with Epstein under the guise of hiring her for a job answering phones. Sick. So I think now they're going to go into that. Ms. Solberg's account of her experience with defendant are chillingly similar. As with Ms. Guthrie, defendant, a perfect stranger, approached Ms. Solberg while trolling Ms. Solberg's school grounds. Weirdo. That is so weird. So she'd go around and walk around the school and try to find a girl that maybe a loner, but beautiful as well. And wow, sick, man, sick. She lured Miss Solberg into her and Epstein's home under the guise of a legitimate job answering phones, a pretext that lasted only a day. Oh man, that's just a young college student. And you know what? Here, I'll let you guys read this. I need to get some water. I've been reading for hours now. So if you guys want to read right there, I'm just going to get some water quick. I'll be right back. Just getting water. Come in. All right. So I believe this is Miss Solberg. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but question: when did you first meet Miss Maxwell? Answer: 2001, March probably. End of February, beginning of March. And how did you meet her? She approached me while I was on campus at Palm Beach Atlantic College. Oh, so it was a college? It's weird. Oh, is the squeaky seat annoying? Sorry. Alright. And how long did you work in that position, answering phones, and just that one day? And what happened? And what happened that second time you came to the house? At that point, I met Emmy Taylor, and she took me up to Jeffrey's bathroom, and he was present. And her and I both massaged Jeffrey. She was showing me how to massage. And then he got off the table. She got on the table. She took off her clothes, got on the table, and then he was showing me movies that he liked. Oh, moves that he liked. Oh my God. And then I took my clothes off. I mean, these girls are so young, they don't know, but they asked me to get on the table so I could feel it. Then they both massaged me. Who did Emmy work for? Ghislaine. Did Maxwell ever refer to Emmy by any particular term? She called her her slave. Did Jeffrey ever tell you why he received so many massages from so many different girls? He explained to me that, in his opinion, he needed to have 3 orgasms a day. See, I'm telling you, these guys are weird. It's just like who says that? Like they need to. Like that'd be nice to, but who's like I need to? It's a sickness. This guy's like sick in the head. Yet they become powerful, and it seems like the most powerful of the powerful are into this crap. You know, they don't want to have a woman that, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just really, this weekend has really kind of like made me question a lot of stuff. Alright, I'll continue. Forget about me. Let's, alright. Did Maxwell ever refer to Emmy by any particular term? She called her her slave. I missed that. Ooh. Okay. So it was biological, like eating. He said that? It was so weird. Like eating. Okay. Yeah. It's like eating is prey. Was there anything you were supposed to do in order to get the camera? The camera. The witness. I did not know that there were expectations of me to get the camera until after she, defendant, had purchased the camera for me, and I was over there giving Jeffrey a massage. I did not know that she was in possession of the camera until later. She called me after I had left and said, I have the camera for you, but you cannot receive it yet because you came here and didn't finish your job, and I had to finish it for you. Whoa. So is that how they do it? Is that like I'm trying to like this is how they kind of like trap the young girls. But I'm thinking that they, you know, as a Mossad agent, he's probably also trapping some of the rich politicians and the actors, and you know, it might be a form of like entrapment as well for the Johns. Not that I feel bad for them, but it's almost like, you know, if everyone has a little bit of dirt on them, then you guys all of a sudden feel comfortable doing business. It's like it's almost like that kind of thing. All right, sorry. And what did you understand her to mean? She was implying that I did not get Jeffrey off, and so she had to do it. And when you say I think we know, but What did you mean bring him to orgasm? Yes. Based on what you knew, did Maxwell know that the type of massages Jeffrey was getting typically involved sexual acts? The witness, yes. What was Maxwell's main job with respect to Jeffrey? We know, but... Well, beyond companionship, her job, as it related to me, was to find other girls that would perform massages for him and herself. Miss Solberg also testified that sexual acts that occurred with her, Prince Andrew, and Miss Guthrie when she and defendant were staying at Epstein's Manhattan mansion. Question. Tell me how it came to be that there was a picture taken. I just remember someone suggesting a photo, and they told us to go get on the couch, and so Andrew and Virginia sat on the couch, and they put the puppet on her lap. And so then I sat on Andrew's lap, and I believe on my own volition that they took the puppet's hands and put it on Virginia's breast, and so Andrew put his on mine. I mean, these girls are brave. Think about it. These are just like 1 or 2 or 3 girls. Well, I saw Jane Doe number 4. So like 4 girls that came forward with information. And as we learned earlier, there's over 100 accounts of these young girls. You know, a lot of them aren't from the U.S., I bet. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, there was a Swedish girl shaking and crying, 15 years old. You know, some of these girls, they come from places where, you know, they get taken advantage of. It's a little bit like a girl from the U.S., you know, might be able to defend herself more, but it's just, you really got to think. These are just what these 4 girls know out of hundreds of accounts of this types of crap and these powerful people. You know, it's never just Epstein. He's always with somebody. It almost makes sense if he was a Mossad agent and they know he's a sicko, but, you know, he just gets other powerful people and they get dirt on them. I mean, imagine what Israel could do with dirt on our presidents. You know, they even tried to get Trump. Miss Solberg's testimony corroborates Miss Guthrie's account of how defendant recruited her and others under a ruse of a legitimate job in order to bring them into the household to have sex with Epstein. Miss Solberg's testimony also corroborates Miss Guthrie's account of being lent out to Prince Andrew by defendant, as even the interaction of Miss Solberg witnessed included a sexual act. Prince Andrew using a puppet to touch Miss Guthrie's breast, while using the hand to touch Miss Solberg's breast. I know I'm butchering her name, but it is an undisputed fact that Tony Figueroa testified that defendant would call him to bring over underage girls and that defendant and Epstein would have threesomes with Miss Guthrie. Tony Figueroa testified that plaintiff told him about threesomes with Miss Guthrie had with defendant and Epstein, which included the use of strap-ons. What? Wait, okay. That came out of nowhere. So, okay. Yeah, you guys get that? Which included the use of strap-ons. Okay. Now we're talking. Wow. Okay. And tell me everything that you remember about what Miss Roberts said about being intimate with Miss Maxwell and Mr. Epstein at the same time. I remember her talking about, like, strap-ons and stuff like that. But, I mean, like I said, all the details are not really that clear. But I remember her talking about, like, how they would always be using and stuff like that. She and Miss Maxwell and Mr. Epstein would use strap-ons? Uh-huh. Affirmative. Wow. Other than sex with the prince, meaning Prince Andrew, is there anyone else that Jeffrey wanted Miss Roberts to have sex with that she relayed to you? Mainly, like I said, just Miss Maxwell and all the other girls. Miss Maxwell Jeffrey wanted Virginia to have sex with Miss Maxwell? And him, yeah. And did she tell you whether she had ever done that? Yeah, she said that she did. So what is that? Wait. Wanted Virginia to have sex. Okay, I get it. That's what this strap. Okay. And what did she describe having happened? I believe I already told you that, with the strap-ons and dildos and everything. Now I wonder what that says. You know that's the part where it's like, did Mr. Epstein ever receive the dildo strap-on? Yes, right up his ass. That's yeah, like out of everything they black out. That's the first redaction I've seen in this whole article. In this whole document. Figueroa also testified that the defendant called him to ask if he had found any other girls for Epstein, thereby acting as procurer of girls for Epstein. Question: when Ghislaine Maxwell would call you during the time that you were living with Virginia, she would ask you what specifically? Just if I had found any other girls, just to bring to Jeffrey. Okay. Pretty much every time that there was a conversation with any of them, it was either asking Virginia where she was at, or asking her to get girls, or asking me to get girls. Okay, well tell me, when did Miss Maxwell ask you to bring a girl? Never in person. It was like literally like on the phones, maybe like once or twice. Alright, did Miss Maxwell call you frequently? No. Alright, how many times do you think Miss Maxwell called you at all? I'd just say that probably just a few, a couple of times, maybe once or twice. One or two. The majority of the time it was pretty much his assistant, which I believe would be Sarah Kellen, right? But we'll see. How do you know Miss Maxwell's voice? Because she sounds British. So someone with a British accent calls you once or twice and asks for, well, she told me who she was. Yeah, this lawyer's trying to get slick and she knows what. Okay, and what did she say when she called you and asked you to bring girls? She just said, hi, this is Ghislaine. Jeffrey was wondering if you had anybody that could come over. 3. It is an undisputed fact that Ronaldo Rizzo testified that defendant took the passport of a 15-year-old Swedish girl and threatened her when she refused to have sex with Epstein. Alright, we're going to that. Ronaldo Rizzo was the house manager for one of the defendant's close friends, Eva Dubin. Oh, you guys remember that name? Remember that name? Eva Dubin and Glenn Dubin. This is from my research the other night. Glenn Dubin, and remember? Isn't that nuts? See, we were doing some good research, and that's one of the names that people didn't get. They had Eva Dubin, but other people who had checked out that document, they didn't get Glenn. I mean, and these guys, these are the richest people. Look at that. That's oh man, what happened here? Wrong. Are you kidding me? Why do I even mess around? Alright. It's alright. We'll wait to it. Alright, here we go. Alright. So anyways, Eva Dubin, one of the defense. So that's weird. Is that a coincidence? And then Glenn Dubin, one of the richest men on Forbes, was on a flight in '02 with them, going to the island. Mr. Rizzo testified through tears how, while working at Dubin's house, he observed defendant bring a 15-year-old Swedish girl to Dubin's house. In distress, the 15-year-old girl tearfully explained to him that defendant tried to force her to have sex with Epstein through threats and stealing her passport. How old was this girl? 15 years old. Describe for me what the girl looked like, including her demeanor and anything else you remember about her when she walks into the kitchen. Very attractive, beautiful young girl. Makeup, very put together, casual dress, but she seemed to be upset, maybe distraught, and she was shaking. And as she sat down and sat in the stool exactly the way girls that I mentioned to you sat at Jeffrey's house, with no expression and with their head down. It's dark, man. But we could tell that she was very nervous. What do you mean by distraught and shaking? What do you mean by that? Shaking. I mean literally quivering. What did she say? She proceeds to tell my wife and I that this is not... This is blurting out, not a conversation like I'm having a casual conversation. That quickly, I was on an island. I was on the island, and there was Ghislaine. There was Sarah, who we know is Sarah Kellen, his assistant, who probably was involved in this stuff as well. Yep. She said, they asked me for sex. I said no. I mean, how did she even end up on the island? And she is just rambling. And I'm like, what? And she said, I asked her. I said, what? And she says, yes, I was on the island. I don't know how I got from the island to here. Last afternoon, or in the afternoon, I was on the island, and now I'm here. Whoa. What is it? So, when she says no, they must have I don't want to speculate. I'm trying to stick to facts. But let's see where this goes. This is nuts. That's actually what he says right here. And I said, do you have this is not making any sense to me. And I said, this is nuts. Do you have a passport? Do you have a phone? And she says, no. And she says, Ghislaine took my passport. And I said, what? And she says, Sarah took her passport and her phone and gave it to Ghislaine Maxwell. And at that point, she said that she was threatened. And I said, threatened? She says, yes. I was threatened by Ghislaine not to discuss this, and I'm just shocked. So the conversation, and she is just rambling on and on again. Like I said, how she got here, she doesn't know how she got here. Again, I asked her, did you contact your parents? And she says no. At that point, she says, I'm not supposed to talk about this. I said, how did you get here? I don't understand. We were totally lost for words. And she said that before she got there, she was threatened again by Jeffrey and Ghislaine not to talk about what I had mentioned earlier about, again, the word she used was sex. And during this time that you're saying she is rambling, is her demeanor continues to be what you described it, which was quivering, by the way? Yes. Was she in fear? Yes. You could tell? Yes. She was shaking uncontrollably. Wow. And then, the fact that she says no, a sicko like him, that makes him want it even more. They threaten her. And it seems like they probably freaking drugged the girl. And he still did what he wanted. And she didn't even remember what happened after. How she even got to where she was. Wow. I agree, Hannibal Hyde. I don't think he's dead either. I was thinking he maybe poisoned. There's no way he hung himself. But now I'm starting to think something else is going on. The more I've researched. Too many big names. Alright. It is an undisputed fact that Lynn Miller testified that she believed defendant became Miss Guthrie's new mama. Lynn Miller is Miss Guthrie's mother. She testified that when Miss Guthrie started living with defendant became Miss Guthrie's new mama. Incredulously, defendant testified that she barely remembered Miss Guthrie. It is an undisputed fact that Detective Joseph Riccieri testified that he sought to investigate defendant in relation to his investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. Detective Riccieri led the Palm Beach Police's investigation of Epstein. He testified that defendant procured girls for Epstein, and he sought to question her in relation to his investigation, and could not contact her due to the interference of Epstein's lawyer. Question. All right. A cross-reference of Jeffrey Epstein's residence revealed which affiliated names. It revealed Nadia Markanova, Ghislaine Maxwell, Mark Epstein. Also, the cross-reference any previous reports from the residence as well. During your investigation, did you learn of any involvement that Nadia Markanova had with any of the activities you were investigating? The other name that is on here as a cross-reference is Ghislaine Maxwell. Did you speak with Ghislaine Maxwell? I did not. Did you ever attempt to speak with Ghislaine Maxwell? This is an FBI agent answering the question, by the way. I wanted to speak with everyone related to this home, including Miss Maxwell. My contact was through Gus, attorney Gus Fronston, at the time, who initially had told me that he would make everyone available for an interview. In subsequent conversations later, no one was able for interview, and everybody had an attorney, and I was not going to be able to speak with them. Okay, during your investigation, what did you learn in terms of Ghislaine Maxwell's involvement, if any? Miss Maxwell, during her research, was found to be Epstein's longtime friend. During the interviews, Miss Maxwell was involved in seeking girls to perform massages and work at Epstein's home. So that's that fact. Here's another one. It is an undisputed fact that pilot David Rogers testified that he flew defendant and Miss Guthrie at least 23 times on Epstein's jet, the Lolita Express, and that GM on the flight logs stands for Ghislaine Maxwell. Notably, at defendant's deposition, defendant refused to admit that she flew with Miss Guthrie and denied that she appeared on Epstein's pilot's flight logs. However, David Rogers, Epstein's pilot, testified that the passenger list on his flight logs bearing the initials GM was in fact Ghislaine Maxwell, and that he was the pilot on at least 23 flights in which defendant flew with plaintiff. The dates of those flights show that Miss Guthrie was an underage child on many of them when she flew with defendant. It is undisputed fact that Sarah Kellen, Nadia Markanova, and Jeffrey Epstein invoked the Fifth Amendment when asked about defendant trafficking girls for Jeffrey Epstein. Both Sarah Kellen and Nadia Markanova lived with Jeffrey Epstein for many years. They both invoked the Fifth Amendment when asked about defendant's participation in recruiting underage girls for sex with Epstein. Markanova testified as follows. Did Ghislaine Maxwell work as a recruiter of young girls for Jeffrey Epstein when you met her? She invokes the Fifth. Have you observed Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein convert what started as a massage with these young girls into something sexual? She pled the Fifth. Kellen testified as follows. Did Ghislaine Maxwell work as a recruiter for young girls for Jeffrey Epstein when you met her? On advice of my counsel, I must invoke my Fifth and Sixth Amendment privilege. Isn't it true that Ghislaine Maxwell would recruit underage girls for sex and sex acts with Jeffrey Epstein? On advice of my counsel, I must invoke blah, 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 same thing. Similarly, Jeffrey Epstein invoked the Fifth Amendment when asked about the defendant's involvement in procuring underage girls for sex with him. Maxwell was one of the main women who you used to procure underage girls for sexual activities. True? And he just goes, fifth. This is Epstein now. Maxwell was a primary co-conspirator in your sexual abuse scheme. True? Fifth. Maxwell was a primary co-conspirator in your sex trafficking scheme. True? Fifth. Maxwell herself regularly participated in your sexual exploitation of minors. True? Oh, it seems like he's just trying to piss him off. Good. Fifth. Another fact. It is an undisputed fact that Juan Alisi testified that defendant was one of the people who procured some of the over 100 girls he witnessed visit Epstein, even that he had to clean defendant's sex toys. So, Juan Alisi was Epstein's house manager. He testified as follows. And over the course of that 10-year period of time, while Miss Maxwell was at the house, do you have an approximation as to the number of different females that you were told were massage therapists that came to house? I cannot give you a number, but I would say probably over 100 in my stay there. Wow, that blew my mind. I don't think I asked that right. The question that I was looking to ask, so let me go back. Did you go out looking for the girls? No. To bring? Never. As the massage therapist? Never. Who did? Miss Maxwell, Mr. Epstein, and their friends. Because their friend relayed to other friends, they knew a massage therapist and they would send to the house. So it was referrals. Did you have occasion to clean up after massages? Yes. And that is after both the massage for Jeffrey Epstein as well as clean up after a massage that Ghislaine Maxwell may have received? Yes. And on occasion, after and cleaning after a massage of Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, do you have occasion to find vibrators or sex toys that would be left out? Yes, I did. It is an undisputed fact that defendant was unable to garner a single witness throughout discovery who can testify that she did not act as the procurer of underage girls and young women for Jeffrey Epstein. Defendant has not been able to procure a single witness, not one, to testify. Even one of her own witnesses, Tony Figueroa, testified that was her witness. Oh, it wasn't good for her. Testified that she both procured girls and participated in the sex. Another one of the defendant's witnesses, Mr. Guthrie's mother. That's who like I'm sick of, is the parents. What's up with the parents? Named defendant as Miss Guthrie's new mama. Indeed, those who knew her well, who spent considerable time with her in Epstein's shared household, like Juan Alisi, Alfredo Rodriguez, and Joanna Solberg, have testified that she was Epstein's procuress. Others who lived with her, Jeffrey Epstein, Nadia Makanova, and Sarah Kellen, invoked the Fifth Amendment so as to not answer questions on the same. No one has testified to the contrary. So here's documented evidence that defendant trafficked Miss Guthrie and procured her for sex with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein while she was underage. The flight logs. Defendant has never offered a legal explanation for what she was doing with and why she was traveling with a minor on 21 flights while she was a child, including 6 international flights aboard a convicted pedophile's jet all over the world. Her motion for summary judgment, as well as all previous briefing papers, are absolutely silent on those damning documents. And the photograph. Throughout a mountain of briefing and even in her own deposition testimony, defendant never offered an explanation regarding Miss Guthrie's photographs of her, defendant, and Epstein, She never offered a legal explanation for why Prince Andrew was photographed with his hand around Miss Guthrie's bare waist while she was a minor child, while posing with defendant inside defendant's house in London. This particular photograph corroborates Miss Guthrie's claims, and there is no other reasonable explanation why an American child should be in the company of adults not her kin in the London house owned by the girlfriend of a now convicted sex offender. Miss Guthrie also produced pictures of herself taken when she was in New York with defendant and Epstein, and from a trip with defendant and Epstein. Wow. So what's up with the prince? I was wondering if the blackout had anything to do with the prince. Prince Andrew, the unknown creepy prince. Let's see. Oh wow, look at these pictures. In New York, look how young she is. It's Epstein for sure right there. There's Ghislaine Maxwell. And Miss Guthrie had produced a number of pictures of herself taken at the Zorro Ranch, Epstein's New Mexico ranch, 2 of which are below. This is at the Zorro Ranch. So you're a young girl, little girl. Finally, among other nude photos, I can't show nude photos, which included full nudes of defendant, Miss Guthrie produced images of females that the Palm Beach police confiscated during the execution of the... Alright, how am I going to do this? Is this... I don't think they really have... Alright, good. Alright. I thought I was actually going to show... Well, including one, because I mean it's been unbelievable. All this information. I mean, I got the black book. I got, of course, this whole thing on Maxwell, and there's still. By the way, this is 350. There's still another like 1,700 pages at least that are coming. We know that for sure. We got the black book. We got the flight logs. We got it all, including one photograph revealing the bare bottom of a girl who appears to be prepubescent, meaning like pre-puberty. All right, 10, 11, 9. Actually, this girl looks like she's like 6 or 7. What the hell? And that's hanging on his wall, I believe. I remember seeing that on 8chan. That was like on her wall. Miss Guthrie will only submit its redacted form. Oh, good. The victim ID letter in 2008, the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida identified Miss Guthrie as a protected victim of Jeffrey Epstein's sex abuse. The U.S. Attorney mailed Miss Guthrie a notice of her rights as a crime victim under the CVRA. By virtue of this letter, the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida provides you with the following notice because you are an identified victim of a federal offense. Miss Guthrie has provided extensive medical records in this case, including medical records from the time when the defendant was sexually abusing and trafficking her. Miss Guthrie produced records supporting her claim of being sexually abused in New York, resulting in both defendant and Epstein taking plaintiff to New York hospital in New York while she was a minor. Wait, did she have to go to the hospital because of the abuse? The dates on the hospital records show that she was 17 years old. As the court is aware, defendant propounded wildly overbroad requests for production concerning the past 18 years of Miss Guthrie's medical history. Defendant repeatedly and vehemently argued to the court that it was essential to procure every page of these records in a fanfare of unnecessary motion practice. And that's what they usually do. Ms. Waxwell has been severely prejudiced by plaintiff's failure to provide required identifying information and documents from her health care providers. Miss Guthrie and her counsel took the considerable burden and significant expense of retrieving and producing over 250 pages of medical records from over 20 providers spanning 2 continents and nearly 2 decades. Now that those records have been collected, defendant's 68-page motion makes no reference to a single medical record produced by Miss Guthrie, nor a single provider, nor a single treatment, nor a single medication prescribed. After defendant's repeated motion practice, stressing the essentiality of these records, this may surprise the court, but not Miss Guthrie. Defendant's request unearthed documents that are highly unfavorable to defendant that corroborate Miss Guthrie's claims against her. Years before this cause of action arose, Miss Guthrie sought counseling from a psychologist for the trauma she continued to experience after being abused by defendant and Epstein. A 2011 psychological treatment record written by her treating psychologist unambiguously describes defendant as Miss Guthrie's abuser. Miss Guthrie was approached by Ghislaine Maxwell, who said she could help her get a job as a massage therapist, seemed respectable, was shown how to massage, told to undress and perform sexual acts on person. Miss Maxwell promised her $200 a job. Therefore, years before defendant defamed her, Miss Guthrie confided in her treating psychologist that Maxwell recruited her for sex with Epstein. And then you have message pads from Detective Akari. Trying to see what else. Maxwell took messages thread, including from an underage girl who were calling to schedule a time to come over to see Epstein. This demonstrates that Maxwell was at Epstein's Palm Beach mansion in 2004 and 2005. Incidentally, a time period she was denied being around the house in her deposition. The messages also revealed that multiple girls were leaving messages that were being taken and memorialized and left out in the open for anyone to see. Certain messages also make clear that a number of these girls were in school. In addition to taking messages herself and the staff working under her direction, taking these. So look, little girls calling in, wants to know if she should bring her friend with her tonight. She is wondering if 2:30 is okay. Something to stay in school. I left message. These girls are in like high school and available on Tuesday. No one fee tomorrow. Confirmed who is scheduled. Has girl for tonight. I mean, she had to like have a girl for every night. This is crazy. He just did a good one. 18 years. Like spoke to me and said, I'm at Jeffrey. He has a teacher for you to teach you how to speak Russian. She is 2 times 8 years old. So is that her way of hiding that she's 16 years old? Not blonde. Lessons are free and you can have first today if you call. Would be helpful to have to Palm Beach today to stay. Can you guys like really see these? I'm trying to like read them all out, otherwise. I have a female for him. Another one. I have a female for him. One message pad reflects, it's probably a minor, who was identified in the Palm Beach police report as a minor, contacting Jeffrey Epstein for work, explaining that she does not have any money. The term work was often used by members of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual trafficking ring to refer to sexual massages. She stated she was called by Sarah for her return to work for Epstein. She stated, work is the term used by Sarah to provide the massage in underwear. July 5th, no year to J.E. from a minor. I need work. I don't have any money. Do you have some work for me? Other message pads reflect who was a minor, calling and leaving a message at the Palm Beach mansion that she has recruited another girl for Jeffrey Epstein. The second message demonstrates that Jeffrey Epstein required different girls to be scheduled every day of the week. Oh my God, he has like a full staff making sure he has a girl every day. This is nuts. The third chose an offer to have 2 minor girls come to the home at the same time to provide sexual massages. These types of messages indicate the lack of secrecy of the fact that multiple young females were visiting every day. At least raises a question of fact whether Maxwell was knowledgeable and involved as aware of this activity. As Guthrie has said, or whether Guthrie was lying and Maxwell was not at all involved or aware of this activity, as the defendant would attempt to have the world believe. Has girl for tonight. Blank is available on Tuesday, no one for tomorrow. Me and blank can come tomorrow anytime or blank alone. Undated Jeffrey from blank has girl for tonight. Other message pads demonstrate that there was a pattern and practice of using young females to recruit additional young females to provide sexual massages on a daily basis. Guthrie, pictured above, J.E. from N, hasn't confirmed for 11 o'clock yet, so she is keeping blank on hold in case blank doesn't call back. Oh, wow. J.E. from blank confirmed at 4 p.m. who is scheduled for morning. They got a schedule like he said, like meals, morning, afternoon, and night. I believe blank wants to work. This message pad reflects that a friend of Jeffrey Epstein is sending him a 16-year-old Russian girl for purposes of sex. 6105 for Jeffrey from Jean Lou. He has a teacher for you to teach you how to speak Russian. She is 2 by 8 years old, not blonde. Lessons are free, and you can have your first today if you call. This message pad directly refutes Maxwell's sworn testimony that she was not present during the year 2015 at Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach mansion, because this shows blank leaving a message for Jeffrey Epstein at the Palm Beach home and that she was going to work out with the defendant on September 10, 2005. The police were only able to retrieve a fraction of these message pads during their trash pull, but even in the few they recovered, it shows Maxwell was regular at the Palm Beach home during the time period she claimed she was not. To the contrary, she was both sending and receiving messages like this one. During the year, Maxwell says she was never around. J.E. I went to Sarah and made her water bottle, and I went to work out with GM. Tell him to call me, returning your call. Would be helpful to have blank come to Palm Beach today to stay. So this is going on a lot at the Palm Beach residence as well. Everywhere he went, he was doing this crap. Yeah, it's tough to see. I have a female for him. Is it okay to stop by and drop something? Blank wants to know if she should bring her friend with her tonight. Law enforcement was able to confirm identities of underage victims through the use of the names and telephone numbers in these message pads. The next line down is the question. The next line down is what I wanted to focus on. April 5th, 2005. This trash pull. What evidence is yielded from this particular trash pull? The trash pull indicated that there were several messages with written items on it. There was a message from HR indicating that there would be an appointment, an 11 o'clock appointment. There were other individuals that had called during that day. And when you would see females, names, and telephone numbers, would you take those telephone numbers and match it to a person? We would do our best to identify who that person was. And is that one way you discovered the identities of some of the others of what soon came to be known as victims? Correct. Did you find the names of other witnesses and pads that you knew have been associated with the house and those messaging pads? Yes. And so was the evidentiary value to the message pads collected from Jeffrey Epstein's home in the search warrant? It was very important to corroborate what the victims had already told me as to calling in and for work. Alright, the black book. Now, I actually have the black book, so we can go through that. And by the way, before we go any further, there's some people I wanted to thank. I wanted to thank Tabby and Mark Knott for last night. I also wanted to thank Tabby and Mark Knott for donating to the channel, as well as Kelly Akibo. I really appreciate that, Kelly, that you didn't have to do all that, but thank you so much. And I also wanted to thank Drop. Thank all of you guys so much. And if anybody else wants to donate to the channel or more personally, all those details are in the description, just so you know. Okay? All of it helps. And, depending on if you donate to PayPal or SuperChat, those go 100% to the channel. And a lot of people did, and all that money is going to go to the channel. And then some people, donated through Venmo or the CASHAPP. That's more like, if you just want to help me out. So you can help the channel, you can help me out. You can choose what you want to do if you want to donate. It's not required, just if you want to. Just wanted to throw that out there. Now, I figured that you guys might want to take a look at it. We're going to go into the black book. But before we go into it in the case, let's take a look at it right now. So here's the black book. Nick Adam. I mean, if anyone recognizes any of these names. Is that too much? Yeah, that's good. You can do a little bit more. It's a little bit. So Nick Adam, Pam Alexander, Giacomo. I mean, we're just on the A's. Like, maybe it's like too zoomed in. You can't even read it. I don't know if anyone recognized any of these names, but this is the black book. I mean, look at all these names. We're just on A-L, A-N, Lulu. I'm trying to... so far, I don't recognize any. Although these guys, they got a lot of numbers and addresses. And let's see. Oh. This is a huge document. Huh. Felipe Amon. Mr. Felipe Amon. He got all kinds of... Switzerland. I mean, this guy had so many. These are these are like the people who run the world. These names. I mean, this is worldwide. You know, some of you guys who, you know, have been to other countries or from other countries, you know, you might recognize some of these names that we wouldn't. So, and so Arthur and Kathy, Charlotte and Victoria, Asaf, Jose Asner, Ashley Allegra Hicks, Lorindo Ash. I can't read every name, but let me see. I have my phone. I'm going to check and see what it looks like for you guys. Yeah, you guys can read that. Even on a phone, you can read that. So let's see. We'll just go right through this. If anyone recognizes a name, Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin. We got him. Ooh. So we got Alec Baldwin. He has a that I think it's New York 212, or it could be DC. Wow. Baston. That's a famous name. And then spelled differently, yeah. So you guys can see that, right? David Blaine. I've always heard that David Blaine was like a what happened? What's going on? Why did it just go away? What the hell? What just happened? Did I hit this? Okay. Maybe that's what it is. I was about to say, what is going on? So we can look at it through document or text. Alright, so we were at David Blaine. Wow. Bill Berkman. That sounds familiar too. Are their names over here? Yeah. Alright, so this is where we were. It's at David Blaine. Wow. Yep, David Blaine. You know that's him. I've always thought that guy using some type of satanic Tony Blair right under him. You guys see that? So we got David Blaine and his assistant, Tony Blair. Alright. Like I said, the leaders of the world involved with this scumbag. Oh, sorry, I need to get a freaking drink. It was like, whew. All right, but this is interesting. Now, just because they're in this book, they're not necessarily guilty. That doesn't make them guilty of child sex trafficking or anything like that. But it gives you an idea, because a lot of them knew exactly what he was about. They knew. And when you see guys like Tony Blair, okay, the former Prime Minister of the UK, all right, I mean, he had Prince Andrew over, you know, and that's just they happened to get him. The one girl that did talk, the one girl that came forward, she was very brave. I mean, there was others, but I think her coming forward helped the others to come forward. She just happened to be there when the Prince Andrew was there. I'm telling you, who knows? I mean, there's so many. We look at the flight logs, there's so many. And then, you know, I don't recognize the name, but I could pick one of these, Mike Bloomberg. See that? I could pick any of these names and look them up. And they're in the Forbes, they're in everything. They're filthy rich. You know, sometimes there's certain people you have to do business with when you're on that level of money. You know, there's only so many billionaires. But, Borges Booth. Now, this is a document I got a little bit worried about putting out there. But, you know, we try to give you the good stuff here at the Red Pill News Dispensary. Give you the facts and give you the actual information, the actual documents. Not speculate. This is, and then, you know, it might help you make a better decision later. You might actually start to realize the gravity of this, and some of the people that you think, you know, you might look up to or just assume are straight arrow, intelligent. You know, they are 10 times more primitive and disgusting than I believe I could ever be, no matter how much money I had. I don't know. Maybe I, you know, was raised a certain way. I don't know. Maybe I've not had money for long enough that I, you know, some of these people, they've been so rich their whole lives. You know, they only get off on, you know, doing it this way. You know, like taking advantage of people. You know, it's all an illusion. I'm telling you, the news, the fame, all the BS, it's all an illusion. These people are you know, set up with it. It's just, I don't know. Let's continue. That's Biden, not Biden. I was curious if Biden was in here, but I didn't see him. Because I know Biden's been dirty. He got dirt. But like I said, just because the name is in here, Richard Branson. Bronfman. Now you guys know that Claire Bronfman, the Bronfman family, I mean, they're right up there with the Rothschilds. Claire Bronfman was in the Nexium case with Keith Raniere. So she was involved with that. The family basically disowned her. Now, I understand the Bronfmans, they have so much money that, someone like Epstein, I saw both of their names on some documents from back in like '02. Like, it was like a who's who document, but it's very interesting. You know they knew. They had to know. Jimmy Buffett? Huh? Ronnie Campbell. So it seems like we're going to have to do a part 3. We'll finish this. Although I'm not done yet. Naomi Campbell. She was brought up a lot in the court documents as well. And the victim actually said that she was a bitch. But, Caruth. I know that name. Caruth. So when the names are like listed twice, it makes you know that they had like a personal, like Dr. Mark Cecil, but then Cecil, Mark, and Minnie, him and his wife or something. You know that there had to be more of a personal relationship there. Oh, this is a better. And then look, they're listed again. So you know what? We can't look at every name, but the names that are listed like 3 times, I might want to look them up. So let's see what this guy's all about. This is just a random name. I haven't looked up this name ever. So here he is. This was another guy on the flights. We were looking up if you guys want to go back to part 1, that's when we did the beginning of the flight logs, and we unlocked a bunch of names that day. United Wealth Advisors Group. Since 1986, Mark has been active in the financial planning industry, providing objective advice and innovative financial strategies to individuals. So he's like a Wall Street guy. He's like a Wall Street guy. Oh, the doctor. This is him, actually. An orthopedic surgery specialist in Canton, Ohio, and has been practicing for 29 years. Graduated from Wright State University of Medicine and specialized in orthopedic surgery. So, health grades. I wonder what his grade is. You actually get a grade. Age 59. No picture. So, that's just an example. So maybe it's actually 2 different Mark Cecils, or is it the same? Well, here's another one, a novelist based in Boston. It seems like this guy is definitely in there because it says Dr. Mark Cecil. And maybe the other Mark Cecil is one of these other guys. Alright, anyway, we'll get back to it. Just Carmine. Anyone else know any of these names? If you do, Larry Coben. Cohen. Phil Collins. I think that's the same Phil Collins. Probably, right? It's like a who's who. Peter Cohen. Is that one of the Cohen brothers or whatever? Peter Cohen, is that one of the Cohen brothers? Phil Collins. Man, nobody wants to be in this book. This is one book you do not want to be in. It's just a bad look. Alright, past that. Now look at Cochran. I wonder if Mandy... Oh, that's London. Alright, I was thinking maybe Johnny Cochran's wife, because I know he died. And there's Phil Collins. Oh wow, it's 3 in the morning. Alright, so we just started the D's, so we'll start on the D's tomorrow, and that's what we'll start tomorrow. It's 3 in the morning at this point, so we'll start back up tomorrow on these, because I want to get these in now, you know what I mean? Because I think it's important all this information is at least, you know, on YouTube, on this channel, and you can go through it. My YouTube, it like failed to go on. I tried to go live twice and it wouldn't, and then it finally did. So I'm gonna have to delete those, like, I don't know, like 10-second videos. Like, you know, I kept trying, it wouldn't go. But let me see. So I'd hate to end it like this. I mean, maybe I'll stick on a little bit long. Does anybody want to call in? Anyone want to talk about what we've been looking at? You know? If anyone wants to call in, talk about what we've been looking at, you know, now's the time if you want to. If you just want to throw out an opinion, I'll put the phone number in chat. Huh, that's weird. See, that's one of the ones that never went through. I got so much more, guys. It's like so much information to go through. It's gonna take time, but this one. So we'll throw this in chat. Oh wow, so I haven't even been reading chat. Thank you. And yeah, if you to help get this out, you know, on your way out, if you could please do a thumbs up. I see there's only 14 likes. You know, a lot of good information in this video. You know, please, if you guys could just give a thumbs up to the video, and if you could share it, that type of stuff helps this information get out there. If you want to donate, that type of information is in the description. And I want to thank the people who have donated from the other night, like Kelly Keebo and Tammy and Mark Knott and Drop. And I actually have another name that I'm going to have to read off on the next one, because it was in SUPERCHAT. And SUPERCHAT's like weird. It's I still don't even know what they never sent me the money from that I had gotten from like a month ago. It wasn't much, but it's crazy. But all right, I wanted to thank all you guys for coming here and spending this time with me and going over this. I know that some of this stuff is like kind of like heavy, and trust me, after this weekend I messaged one of you guys and I said, I've been reading this stuff and researching this stuff, and I'm starting to feel like kind of like depressed and just like thinking about everything. So I think it's important that it is out there. However, this information needs to get out. No matter how much they try to mess with my stuff and mess with me, I'm gonna get out the real information, and that way you can make an informed decision on how you feel and inform others. Try to get this video out to people, share, like, whatever it takes. Some of the information in here, and we'll be doing more, and we're gonna do the rest of this black book. We've only gone through A, B, C, and we've already came across a number of big time names, and I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more. And that doesn't make them necessarily sex traffickers, but it's interesting. You kind of get an idea of what they might be into. So I just wanted to thank you guys, and when you're looking to get your Pez, you know where to come. The Red Pill News Dispensary. Alright, thank you guys, have a good night, and God bless you.